Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus, guys, giving you more than the meta. So guys, I want to go ahead and show you once again how I play defense. I always use my base play, which is going to be cover 6, and that's typically my base play, and then I'll adjust out of that play with my audibles based on what my opponent's offensive formations are set up and the commonalities of the type of plays that they actually run. But I want to show you some different types of adjustments I use with cover 6 to bait my opponent into making mistakes. And how you win more games and make more defensive stops is making your opponent make mistakes more than anything else, thinking something's going to be open and actually taking it away. And one of the reasons I do use match coverage is because a lot of players really struggle against match coverage. Even pros struggle with match coverage just because the defenders actually play a little bit differently than you play with typical man coverages and zone flat drops and all that kind of stuff. So guys, if you do like this type of content, I do want to just give you a heads up. I have a whole breakdown of my spread scheme. I'm actually building out a green base scheme right now, and it's going to be similar to the type of stuff I did, but I actually am going to have a complete write-ups that you guys can reference. So if you guys are interested in seeing that stuff, you can go to my Patreon. I'm going to actually go ahead and sell these as individual ebooks opposed to memberships, just so you guys can have access to it, because I spent a lot of time on these, and they're very in-depth, in detail. We got a lot of video that go with it as far as gameplay is concerned. So let's go and jump into this gameplay. I'm actually playing against someone ranked in the top 10,000. He's played over 500 games, won 75% of them. I'm kind of falling in the gap right now where I'm playing people that win 75% of their games, because that's kind of like where I'm at. I'm setting my audibles. One of the audibles I like to do is I like to use hard flats. I use that for like tight sets. And then I use cover 6 as my base play. Now, usually when I see any kind of offensive line set up and where I've got the strength of formation, because I've got an extra block right here, I'm always going to shift my linebackers over to go ahead and take away any kind of running lanes like that. If he wants to run this way, he's only got like basically 2 blockers, and I've got 3 defenders over here. So that's why I'll bring that guy down into the box, knowing that if he does run off to the right, if I've got my guys shifted like that, it's going to be okay. Other adjustment too is I'm going to go ahead and man this guy up. So if he does go deep, I've got a guy over the top manned up. If he goes across the middle of the field, I've got that, and I've got flat support of the backside. So this is a minor adjustment I do when I have trip sets. I'm really looking for anything that's going to be coming over the middle of the field with my safety. I'm really looking for the deep half crosser, but any route combinations that go over here essentially are going to get X'd out, because I've got all these hook zones and soft squats and all that stuff really hooking up on it, and I've got my 3-rec hook that's going to be out there. So actually he gets really good blocking right here. I should have shifted over my defensive line to get more leverage on that stretch play, and you'll see me make that adjustment. This is a minor adjustment that I'll actually go ahead and make. Right here, I think I'm making my last adjustment for my defense, and that's actually putting cover 4 palms in. That's a defense I like to jump into, because a lot of people have a hard time reading it. So let's go ahead and see if I set this up correctly. So this is an adjustment that I typically do when I'm seeing double set. I'm going to man up this guy. I'm going to man up this guy. And it doesn't really matter where they're at. My responsibility is the deep half for anything that kind of crosses over. Now, where's the weakness of the field? The flat. This is the weakness of the field, is the flat. And a quick adjustment, if you wanted to take that away, is you could take this defensive end and put him in a flat, and that will protect that area for you, forcing your opponent to go over the top. But typically what I want to do is, when I see this type of adjustment, these are just kind of the pro adjustments I do, I want to see what my opponent does with his thing. He does a nice little inside zone, and as a result, I'm able to go ahead and tackle him for a 2-yard gainer. Once people get a 2nd and 8, usually they start giving up on the run. This guy should have stuck with the run, but he essentially gave up on it. So let's see here, adjust it over, slide these guys over. You can see the strength of formation is over here, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and slide these guys over, make it a little bit harder for them. And then let's see what adjustments. Okay, so there was an icon adjustment issue right here that was going on, and his letters got mixed up, or his symbols got mixed up, and that's why I manned up the running back. It was not my intention to do that. So I think what happens is, you can see the icon got a little bit mixed up right there. He's trying to do underneath route right there with the automation, and he's able to go ahead and get a first down on that. So that was actually good for him in that type of situation. Now I've got trips over here. Anytime I see 3 wide receivers over here, usually what I'll do is I'll take this guy, put him in a hard flat, rotate my defenders over just so that they match up a little bit easier. And then also once the adjustment is I'm going to go ahead and man up this guy if I have time. Last adjustment too, especially if I'm playing like cover 4 palms, is I'm going to put this guy on a deep third. And the reason I do a deep third is that he'll play any kind of a corner route over here and actually bite on that corner route. So that's why deep throws are really, really important to throw in your scheme. So I did jump into palms. I rotated my guys over. I didn't put a flat out there. Let's see if I was able to get it up. Okay, so here you go. I put the flat out, but look what I did is I inadvertently messed up my assignments. So fortunately for me, he did not quick snap me because he could have caught me for a huge play. I put a deep third out there. So that's all the adjustments I set up. And he hits me with a flat curl concept, which I think is called Hank with the pros, which most players really don't use in their offensive schemes, but it was very effective. There are certain things that this guy did you would think he would have came back to, but he really didn't. He just kept mixing up his plays. Now, anytime I see a tight formation like this, especially if it's an ace formation where I've got 2 tight ends or a deuce formation, what I do is I man up these guys right here, and I'm going to use this guy over the middle and just look for any kind of a streak with the tight ends. That's what my look is for, just to see if I can hit everybody over the middle. But I've got a deep defender over here. I got a deep defender. I got a cloud flat, and then I've got a flat out here to take out any kind of outs or crossing routes. I think what he does is a kind of a mesh play. No, actually goes with a run, and he picks up pretty good yards. I didn't shoot the gap correctly. He picked up 5 yards on that, so it was a pretty good run for him. Here's a good example of how you can use the leverage of your defensive line to really take away your opponent's running opportunities. So you can see I bunched these guys up, and then I rotated these guys over. So really what's going to happen is that I've got these defensive linemen are actually kind of in a position to go ahead and shoot the gaps against my opponent. He actually motions the guy over, so what do? I go ahead and take the line and shift them out, and then I rotate these guys over as he's trying to quick snap me. Rotate him over. He snaps the ball, and look at the leverage I've got. He's really got nowhere to go. It's this. I've got basically 6 defenders to his 4 blockers. Nowhere to go with that. Basically a loss of 0 gain on that run. 3rd and 5. He goes into the doubles X close. And let's see if I go ahead and jump into this. And once again, I want to go and slide this guys over. So this is actually a bad decision. I should be sliding these guys the opposite direction. But I think I was so used to rotating my guys over, it was like muscle memory. So bad decision. Let's see if we're correct. So I still man up these 2 guys right here. Man these 2 guys up right here. I think this is where he ran a mesh against me. So he is running mesh. And see what happens is this guy actually goes ahead and stops, leaving this area wide open. Pretty much everything else is tied up. Like these guys are all taken up by defenders. I've got this guy over the top, but the opening is right here. This is where the opening is at. I've got rusher in his face. He actually gets the ball off. Nice little completion right there by the tight end. Makes a nice little move. Gets the ball down to the 12-yard line. So that was a good read. And that was going back to mesh spot. Very common play getting used online. You have a count for it as far as your defensive scheme. And the adjustment, it was if I was going to man up my backside guys like that, what you want to do as an adjustment is to go ahead and put a flat out there on the area that doesn't have any kind of coverage. So slid my guys over, my defensive line over. I want to rotate these guys down. I want to rotate these down because they have a little bit better pass coverage responsibility. And then what I do is I take this, put this guy in a hard flat as another defender out there. And I think what he does is he might go with a bubble in this type of situation. So he actually does throw to the outside flat. I'm able to go ahead and get it to a 2nd and 8. So in this series, he actually gets the ball in the end zone against me. No, actually, no, he doesn't. So back at it again, you can see the strength of the formation is over here. I've got 3 blockers over here, so I'm going to go ahead and bunch up these lines. I'm going to shift these guys over. Another thing I can do down here in this type of situation is I could press my guys down because he's not beating me deep. You know, when you're basically basically 10 yards out from the line of scrimmage. So that's one of the advantages of being in the red zone. You could press all you want. He goes with a play-action play and actually hits the little ball underneath with the running back and gets the ball down to a 3rd and 2 situation. So that worked out pretty well for him. 3rd and 2. Goes into wing again. But you can see the running back is offset, so if he's going to run the ball, it's going to be off to this left here, unless he's doing some type of an 0-1 trap or basically a power O. But I'm going to go with the strength of numbers, so that's why I shift my line over, slide my linebackers over to protect the backside, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and actually put him into a seam flap. So I think I had him in an original flat, and then I put him in a seam flap because I want to take away this passing lane right here, because you can see this guy's out of position, and I want to kind of bait him into throwing that. So going at it right here, so you can see he throws right into it, and Chase Young cannot catch a ball, dude. The guy is not, he never gets interceptions for me. Anytime I have defenders, I have guys throw into him, he just knocks the ball down, but he never catches it. He goes into a gun bunch close, which, you know, gun bunch close is basically 4 wide receivers on one side, quads, gun bunch quads. And in that type of situation, I really I don't see it enough where I really have a defense ready to go for this. So basically what I do is I just go ahead and just flood the zone over here. I'm going to go ahead and put a zone over here, and then I've got essentially, you know, basically these guys over here. And I don't know if I do set up a man assignment. There is a man assignment on the backside. He actually tries to throw to the single wide receiver, and I get an interception on that because I did man that guy up. So it's really critical that to be successful when you do any kind of match coverages and you do hybrid coverages, that you have the ability to go ahead and make adjustments. So if you're not familiar with making adjustments where you're not jumping on guys and actually doing your adjustments, you're going to have to get those motor skills down to be successful in this game. So I end up going out into the end zone and actually settling for 3. He basically sacked me a couple times. He got a couple of cover sacks against me. I'll take my points. He should have done the same thing. This game should have been tied 3-3. He's got 1 minute and 52 seconds left in this series. And, you know, obviously I don't want to give up any kind of points. Worst case scenario, I'm getting the ball in the second half. So if I give up 3, that's fine. But I don't want to give up any kind of big yardage. So he goes back to this set. This is a wrong defense for the run. He takes the bait. I actually force him back on the inside. He only gets 4 yards on that, but actually the leverage of my run defense was not right. Should have been this side. That's where my guys should be at. I want him to try to bounce it out. I want him to do a power O. That's what, you know, ideally what you want to do in that type of situation. See, I rotate the defense, or actually pinch the defense over. And right here I'm playing basically that route right here. Peel off. I get edge pressure with Bosa. Get him in a 3rd and 6 situation. So that actually worked out pretty well for me. And it looks like this guy's running play stock. So he's just picking a play and just running the stock. I think I go with the double man look here. So I do have double man. This guy mans up. This guy mans up. And I think he's running simple mesh. Let's see if I get a block shed on this. So he did have the running back open. Or actually, no, not open. Because I had a defender right here, and I was chasing down this guy underneath. So pretty much mesh was locked up because I did have a defender over the middle of the field. So he went in mesh spot, and because I got block shed, that's really was the difference in that. Now he actually jumps into pistol ace. It's 4th and 6 situation. This is when I use dollar. I use dollar in passing situations, 3rd down, 4th down situations. I use the zone blitz, free safety zone blitz, or I'll use a double safety zone blitz and actually jump into the zone blitz, primarily because it's a really great blitz, but you don't want to use it too much where your opponent starts getting used to your tendencies. And I don't adjust out of it. I just send the dogs after people and try to take away their initial read. So pressure up the middle right there, able to go ahead and get a turnover and downs. And look at this, 1 minute and 26 seconds left. My goal is to chew down his clock, go up by 7, go up by another score, preferably 10 points, and not leave this guy any kind of time whatsoever. And I do exactly that. You can see right here, 10-0, going to the second half, getting the ball back. All I have to do is not give up a big play, and he goes back into, instead of a spread formation or an empty set or something like that, he decides to go into this set again, which essentially is a twin set with the running back. I think I stay in the cover 4 palms. I want to stay in cover 4 palms because I don't want to give up any kind of big plays. So I do that, and then you can see he goes to the deep outs. I just jumped it. I don't know why. I felt like he was going to do that. He should have went underneath, and I'm able to go ahead and get the ball back with 2 seconds left right here at the 20-yard marker, 25-yard marker. It ends up being another 3 points because he got greedy. So after me scoring again and doing a 2-point conversion, I'm up 21-0 in the third quarter. And this guy's he's in a real bind right now because he's just struggling against my defense. So right here, I go ahead and I think I set up the defense once again. I hard flat my guys out there because I want the hard flats to take out. He throws into a passing lane, which is skinny post. The skinny post play is just like this. You got this deep post to go in like so, and then you got a running back check and release. And that play was just pretty much shot down. I had double teams on everybody pretty much. There was really nothing you could do with that with the skinny post play. So now I go ahead and jump into that variation of the cover 6. So I've got this guy locked up. I got this guy locked up. And my responsibility is to look for anybody coming over the middle of the field. And I think if he jumps into mesh again, so he does do mesh again, the 3 rec actually covered up one of his mesh guys. And you can see right here, actually drops it down to the crosser, but I've got 3 defenders there. If I would have hard flatted my guys, I think he would have came down and actually played that, but it would have opened up the ball right there on the backside. So this guy was using a lot of those same play concepts, and he was really struggling against it. Back here, once again, he just can't get the ball off. I think my pass rush is getting him into a bind. 4th and 3, so mesh spot, he's just essentially just getting shut out, and I wasn't even running the most premium defense with this scheme. I should have had a better setup where I was actually dropping his zone flat. So it goes into trips, and let's just show you the play art. All right, so I've got the blitz coming in. This he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. I've got this guy matched up. This guy's matched up. Where's my responsibility? This is my responsibility. Now, I can bait this guy over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and shoot off to the right as soon as the ball snaps because I'm not worried about this tight end as much as I'm worried about this inside slot receiver. He's seeing this hole right here, nobody over it, and then if I actually move my guy a little bit, he's going to say, oh my God, he's out of position. I'm going to go and throw that passing lane. So watch what happens with this. I move my guy, and I go shooting over this area right here, and he throws into my passing lane. Actually, if he would have threw the in route first, which he probably could have, I don't know if he saw that or not. If he threw the in route, he would have got away with it. But because he decided to shoot the other guy, I'm able to go ahead and get a completion, go up 28-0. So, basically 28-0, 2 minutes left in the game. This game is pretty much toast. And then I just, instead of running with match and staying with match, I started experimenting. I started saying, okay, what other plays can I go ahead and jump into? You can see right here that this match coverage basically just took away all his raw progressions out of the corners play. I went in the palms, usually with my setup with my palms. Right here, I go into cover 3. Because there's a third wide receiver over here, I decided to go drop a zone flat out here, and then I'm going to drop this guy into a deep zone. I'm going to play him in the box. And so my responsibility is to kind of play this area right here because I've got protection on the sidelines, and I've got a seam flat off to the right side. So I'm riding the sidelines right here. It actually hits me with a screen. I can tell you one plays that I have a hard time with are screen plays because I don't set up any kind of a defense to stop a screen play. It's just something I don't do. What you do have to do, if you really want to shut down a screenplay pretty easily, just take your defensive end and man them up, or defensive lineman and man them up on the running back, and that will just shut down any screenplay because they're automatically going to go behind that running back and take away that play. Goes back to hard flat. He makes a completion with CD Lamb. CD Lamb catches everything. The guy is a great wide receiver in this game. Really, really good, tough player to play against because he doesn't drop balls. I've got these guys in deep thirds, and then I've got the lines bunched up, rotated over. So if he does any kind of corner route combinations, these guys are going to scoop them up. If he does streaks, these guys will take the streaks, and then I got the underneath coverage with the flat zones out there. So you can see pretty much everything is just gobbled up right here, even matching concepts. He doesn't know where to go with it. My responsibility is the running back, and I actually took that away. So he could have potentially threw me another reception. Second and 10 situation. Now I think of what I do is I decide I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep blitz this guy. This game's pretty much out of hand for him. He's only got a minute left. I'm gonna go ahead and start playing around with dollar, which is not my defense, and just try to hit this guy with some blitzes. So I go ahead and dial up double blitz, and my responsibility is to essentially cover this guy over the middle of the field. Really aggressive blitz up the middle. I've got the pressure. Prescott is able to get rid of the ball before the sack, and my defender's actually out of position. So he dialed up a really good play, and that I'm sure he's probably seen this blitz a lot because it's the meta online right now. Everybody's using it. It is a blitz that gets in right away, so I can understand that. So now I get a little bit cute. I decided to go into cover one hole is my play. And I'm going to just blitz him and do man coverage. And this is why I don't ever run man coverage, is because it's just easy to toast. If you know what you're doing and you've seen it before, man coverage is just going to kill you. And I gave up a cheap touchdown against this guy just because I used cover one hole, which is a pretty solid defense, but it's not really good against anybody that knows what they're doing. This guy's got well over 500 games underneath his belt. He's probably saw a lot of man coverage, and because I ran man coverage, he went ahead and lit me up. But when I was running match coverage, he was having a hard time. He was making mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So once again, guys, I really appreciate your support. He had some rage quitting out after I scored. So thank you for support, guys. If you like these type of breakdowns, please comment below. So thank you for support. Until next time.